The following is a presentation of The Day.
Thank you guys for joining us on live lunch break here at the Telegraph Record Store in New London, and of course streaming on theday.com. My name is Rick Infectious Diseases Coster, and that's why I'm standing over here so as not to infect Susan, Craig, and Tim. This is the Tim Lee 3, and they are from Knoxville, Tennessee, by way of the Deep South, Oxford and Jackson, Mississippi. We're so glad to have you guys here today. They're touring behind Devil's Rope. Tim has had a career that seems to span back into the 19th century, all the way back to the Windbreakers in the 80s, but coming forward, and as you're going to hear today, they prefer to think forwardly. They just finished recording a new album that'll be out in March called 33 1/3. Who knows what we will hear, but I'm telling you, it's going to be really good. This is the Tim Lee 3. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks, Rick.
Glad to be here.
Going too far. Finding rhythm and no beat. We're all dancing in the street. Yeah, it's getting kind of loud. We're all sweating in the heat. Fast cars, loud guitars. Going too far. I hate to be the one to have to stop that train. Watching while the whole world's going insane. Fast cars, loud guitars. Local bars, going too far. Finding signal in the noise. We like to share our toys. We're gonna learn how to fly out around the asteroids. Fast cars, loud guitars. Local bars, going too far. Fast cars, loud guitars. Local bars, going too far. Going too far. Going too far. Thanks, y'all.
Well, thank you. All right, like Rick said, we have a record coming out called 33 1/3, and this is a song from it. We'll probably play a lot of songs from it.
Just makes them go numb. Good with that, just makes you want some. You can meet me in the photo booth, set the data black and white.
camera. Let 'em see you smile. Meet me in the photo booth. Set the dial to black and white. Look into the camera. Let 'em see you smile. Meet me in the photo booth. Meet me in the photo booth.
Thank you. No, I just think you're gonna get shocked one of these
Wardrobe
days.
malfunction.
You're gonna stick that thing in your mouth and it's gonna, you know, blow you out of the wall. You have insurance, right? I mean, life insurance. You have life
Yeah, I know what you're
insurance, right?
saying. My loving wife. Headlights just hypnotize me. White lines are all I can see. Windshield wipers slap out of time. Another mile and I'll go out of my mind. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Another day and I'll be far away from the things that send me astray. My tires are bald, these belts are slack. If I get nowhere, I won't be coming back. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Sold cars like a best friend on the night where the road never ends. A gospel song on the radio, that's the only salvation I know. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Rearview mirror has been cracked, but I'm an honest man, I don't look back. Stars are all the road map I need, with a six-pack and a bag of weed. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Our Lady of the Highway, rescue me. Rescue me. Rescue me. Rescue me. Thanks. This is another one that will be on 33 and a third. So you're getting the full preview. This will be the lead off track, I believe.
It's a song about spontaneous combustion
And disappointment.
and disappointment. I was getting there. First time baby caught fire, she was just 9 months old. Not a scratch or a mark upon her, so I was told. We all
Thank you.
Thanks.
The Tim Lee 3, this is tremendous. Thank you for joining us at Live Lunch Break at theday.com. I'm Rick Coster. And of course, this would be the titular Tim Lee, his wife, Susan Bauer Lee. And back here is Craig Brata. Is that pronounced? Craig. Why do I keep doing that? I apologize. No, it's horrible.
Can you change your name?
I just posted as a quick aside, I just posted a blog based around the fact that the first record review I ever got paid for writing, which was a small music magazine back in Texas, a band I like very much called Too Smooth from Austin. 4 guys in the band, and in the record review, I misspelled all 4 of their names.
That's impressive.
And yet I'm still working. How the hell did that happen? So my apologies. Unbelievable. So glad to have you guys up here from Knoxville, Tennessee, touring behind Devil's Rope, but already looking ahead to 33 1/3. Great songs. I want to ask you this, Tim, because as we mentioned at the outset, you have been well-known songwriter.
I like the sound of well-known. I don't know if
Well-known.
it applies, but I like the sound of it.
Those of us in the know
It's
do know.
relative.
Since-
Very
yeah,
relative.
some
of my relatives even know I do it.
that's how we sell stuff is relative, right? But going back to the '80s in Mississippi with the Windbreakers, and I guess where I was sort of going with that, with well known, is at that point in time you kind of had to either be on a major label or it was really rough. You guys are extremely prolific and making it work today. In a lot of ways, it's easier now. You don't have to rely on that. Is that a fair assessment for what you guys have got going on?
Yeah, in a way, but back then when we came along was a time when all of a sudden there was sort of an independent scene. All of
Right.
a sudden there were fanzines and college radio stations and enough clubs that you could put together a tour, and there were independent labels that would put out your stuff. And I'd say when the Windbreakers started making records, there were, I don't know, maybe 50 bands in the entire country doing that.
Right.
So it was kind of, easy to get attention because nobody was really clamoring for the attention. And Peter Detmold and I were talking about this yesterday, that, since it was such a small group, it was kind of tight-knit and everybody kind of helped each other.
Right.
Now it is easier to create product, as people like to call it in the biz. We're not in the industry, we're in the out-dustry, but that's where we're comfortable. But
Flying under the radar.
yeah,
Flying
so
under the radar.
but it's easier to do that, but it's I think it's in a lot of ways it may be harder to find an audience. But again, like I said, we're in the out industry. We just do this because we like to make this racket, and it brings us a great deal of joy. And so it'd be hard to stop us.
Nobody wants that to happen, Tim.
It would be harder to stop us than it would be to push us along any harder.
It would be a lot harder to shut us up.
I'll get behind the van and push. I can do that. What is it like? You guys have such a natural empathy going back and forth, you and Susan vocally, and when you actually write the tunes, do they sort of evolve in progress, or do you just have an immediate idea and say, well, Susan's going to take this lead vocal line or whatever? How does it all work now?
Both ways.
Both ways?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no set method.
No, there's no set method. I mean, he will write a song that he thinks I should sing, and he'll know it immediately. I'm not comfortable writing in his voice, so anything that I write, I sing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, we finish each other's sentences anyway.
We do.
Right.
So
So you guys have been married how long?
33 years.
33 years.
Tremendous.
Last Friday.
Congratulations. Really?
That's why.
Yeah.
Last
Last
Friday.
Friday. Yeah. Who goes on a tour for their 33rd wedding?
Well, it depends on where you were.
Yeah.
I mean, were you in Compton? No, I don't know. But where did you
Well,
celebrate the 33rd? Where were you?
On the road.
Yeah, on the road. Just driving to the northeast.
We got a cupcake.
Yeah.
Cupcakes?
Yeah, where was it? At Ruby Tuesday?
Yeah, it's the only place we could find to eat in Hagerstown, Maryland.
At
Yeah.
what, 10 o'clock at night
Yeah,
or
so
something
it
like
was,
that?
but
Yeah.
So Chris told them it was our anniversary, so they brought us a cupcake.
I guess it could have been worse. So
Yeah, they could have sung to us.
don't you hate that there are those chain places that make up their own birthday songs
Oh
too?
yeah, that's the worst because they don't want to pay the royalties on,
Exactly.
on the traditional.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
all right now, as self-described barbecue aficionados who grew up in Tennessee and in y'all's case Mississippi, what's it like trying to eat up here? Be honest, because I grew up in the
I mean,
South.
yeah, it's not bad because there's more variety of ethnic food than there is where we live.
Yeah.
I mean, Knoxville's not bad for that, but, we stayed in Parsippany, New Jersey the other night.
Persnickety.
Parsippany, yeah. And within like a mile of our motel, there were 18 Indian restaurants.
Right.
And they all smelled great, and the one we ate at was fantastic. Whereas in our town, there's 2 Indian restaurants, and they're on the other side of town, and you got to go find them, and and they're good. But
Right.
it's not as immediate. You have to search it out. I mean, yeah, you can get probably better home cooked vegetables, but
Right.
as far as like ethnic food, it's a little more of a search.
Nothing wrong with that. But
and we like that too. So
Lots of diners up here too.
there are a
Yeah.
lot of diners, and
we
that's
like
a,
the diners.
that's a
but-
good
Yeah,
thing.
We've been making the diner tour as well.
That's true. We've
well.
visited several.
Sometimes that's all that's open after you
That's
play.
true.
So now, in conversation a moment ago, you referenced Peter Detmold, who of course in this part of the world is Peter Detmold, and that's of course from the Reducers. We're so proud of them, and of course he and his wife Martha own the Dutch Tavern, where I predict everyone in this room will be as soon as we finish this. But you did meet the Reducers all these years ago on the road, and
Yeah.
struck up a friendship. And
Absolutely, yeah. My band, the Windbreakers, played several shows with them, and we played together in D.C. and Providence and Boston and stuff. And when you do that, a kindred spirit immediately.
Right.
And so Peter and I have not necessarily been in touch for 30 some odd years, but we have off and on, and so it's just been great to be here and hang out with him and get caught up. So
yeah, and I think when you said it's a kindred spirit, it's one of those things as time goes by and we get older, you realize, wow, I don't have to talk to you every week because it's just natural.
Right.
When it might have been a few years ago.
And we went to Peter's radio show last night. He and I have not talked about music in 30 years. Every time he pulled out something and put it on to play, either Susan or I were going, "Oh, I love this song. This is a great song."
Oh, we walked in and that Tom Petty song is playing. That's my favorite song.
Yeah.
Off the new record.
But even more obscure
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
We just
yeah,
were like,
yeah.
"Yeah, we love that."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is your kindred spirits. And
Yeah.
and by the way, I wish I had all the money that Peter Detmold had spent going to see Tom Petty in the last 5 years. So he's a fan. But
I saw Tom Petty in, what was it, 79?
Yeah.
did you?
Yeah, yes, I did. In New Orleans.
We're at the warehouse.
Yep, yep.
I wish that place was still around.
It was a great one.
Anyway, so I want to ask you one more question. I'll let you get back to this most impressive and premier set list from 33 and a third. We talked a little bit about you guys, who sings what or whatever. I'm interested to know, I think a lot of people, when they start out, I'm going to be a rock star as a kid or whatever, you're fueled on testosterone and the opposite sex and beer and who knows what else, and it's just a great thing. And as you get older, different things start to fuel you as a songwriter. You're so prolific and you're so good at it. Is it hard to wake up in the morning and go, "Yeah, the muse isn't here today"? Or
No, I mean, I've done it for so long that it's second nature almost, and I learned a long time ago just to kind of trust the muse and go with it. And if I get to the end of it and I realize, okay, that was a waste of time, that's fine, because there may be something there I go back and steal later.
right,
Or it's exercise. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about songwriting. It's the same as learning to play the piano or anything. You have to practice. You can't just, I think the first song I ever wrote was kind of pretty good. And then the next 20 were horrific. and so, but I had to do it, and I still think, for every couple of songs you write that's good, you're at least going to write one more that you're going to forget about.
Right.
I'll open my computer every now and then and find files of songs that I was like, oh yeah, I see why I never went back to that, But you have to kind of just trust it and do it, and then judge it later.
and it's sort of like it's never really
Yeah.
work.
Right.
You're,
No, it's
you're
not
playing
to
your
me.
guitar, right?
Yeah.
So-
No, and I mean, I love it, and like I say, I trust the process completely. And if it's not, satisfactory at the end, then that's fine. It was just part of the thing.
When you guys leave here, you are headed to.
Boston area, Somerville.
So I mean, there are people. That's another thing about New England. It's like not like driving from Dallas to El Paso. It's like
Well, you're not kidding.
I'll go to Somerville. So maybe there are folks out here. It wouldn't surprise me that did go see you in Somerville. What's the name of the club?
Well, we're going to Armory Sound, which is a recording studio,
Okay.
and doing a live in the studio performance to be recorded.
Oh, okay, I
that
got
will
you.
likely turn into a live record unless we're just completely horrific.
So don't go to Somerville.
But if we're-
They won't let you in.
Yeah, you can talk your way in. It's no big deal. But yeah, if it's completely horrific, then I really want to treat it like a 1970s live record, like Frampton Comes Alive, and just take it in the studio and fix everything. And I just think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Because, there was that whole controversy about Thin
Yeah.
Lizzy's Live and Dangerous and Frampton Comes Alive and how they were so manufactured. And it was like, well, I think it would be funny to do one now.
It would.
With like this nobody band. To
Yeah.
like go to the trouble to make your live record perfect. I just think that would be the funniest thing on earth.
The first thing you want to do is dub all the applause from Humble Pie Rockin' the Fillmore.
Well,
It's
I was
like-
thinking the Ventures live
Well,
on
the-
stage.
yeah.
Because if you ever listened to that, it's on a
Yes.
tape loop. Like every 20 seconds, you hear "Oh!" and then it's like quiet for 20 seconds, and it's like "Oh!" So it would have to be that fake.
We can probably make that happen. So
Yeah, so-
actually, well, that's what Peter and I are going to do with this
That's good.
video.
Awesome.
It'll be you'll be really surprised on the
The story
archives.
is so good. I'm sure there's a copy of Ventures live on stage somewhere.
Probably is, and as
Just
always,
sample it straight off of there.
we could do that. All right, we are so privileged to have you guys here. This is the Tim Lee 3. Thanks for being here, and
Thanks for having
we
me.
will enjoy this.
Well, thanks. All right. Well, this is a song from a record we did a few years ago called, whoops. It's called Raucous Americanus, which again was just something we thought was funny.
Sort of like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, it's a Roadrunner thing.
It's a Roadrunner thing.
All right then.
Lurking round my backyard, trying not to think hard, thinking I could run far, watching from the corner of my eye. Looking for a real sign, something like a dark line, maybe just a small crime. I think I heard a tiny little cry, or maybe just a sigh. Dig it up. Driving down a back road, carrying a dark load. I wonder if the dead told stories just to scare the little kids. Well, I can tell a worse tale. Find a single rusty nail, wrap it in a white veil, give it to my sister on her wedding day. Don't know what to say. Dig it up.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I didn't even notice. We should do something outside of here, I think. But do Devil's Road next. Sorry. Audible.
Yeah. Openly criticizing the set list. All right, this is the title track from Devil's Rope. I'll do that thing I never do and tell a story about it. Susan and I were driving across the country, and we drove through Oklahoma, and we kept seeing signs for the Devil's Rope Museum, and we were, what the hell could that possibly be? And it's barbed wire. And so they have a museum for barbed wire. Barbed wire is a big thing in Oklahoma. We stopped at a barbecue place, and on the table,
Zillion different kinds of barbed
yeah,
wire.
and there was a sign for the upcoming barbed wire show at the Expo Center, and this was fascinating. But so we spent the night in Clovis, New Mexico, and I woke up the next morning. This song just kind of came to me, and I, jumped out of bed and got a guitar out and real quiet, kind of doing it while Susan slept. And then she got up, and I played her what I had. And she took a shower. She got out of the shower, and she was like, "Oh, I've got the last verse. Don't worry, it's done." And so then, but of course, being from Mississippi, we have a healthy fascination with hill country blues and Junior Kimbrough and things like that. And I've always loved how Junior Kimbrough can write a whole song and never change chords. And I really wanted to do that with this song, but then I wimped out and put a second chord in it.
Couldn't do it.
I couldn't commit to it. And it's to my everlasting shame that there's a second chord in this song. So there, I told a story about a song.
Awesome.
I'm a storyteller.
I'm proud of you.
I'm getting a thrift store suit and an acoustic guitar and going solo. Good book, you ought to do what Jesus said. Oh, take good look, what's got you in its way. Hand me down the devil's road, girl, I'm gonna fence you in. Hand me down the devil's road, been living too long in sin. Mark on you. Hand me down a devil's road. Girl, I'm gonna pinch you in. Take me down the devil's road. Been living too long in sin.
Thanks. Sure.
We're gonna do one more for you, and this one is from that album Raucous Americanus that I mentioned earlier. Something like this. Journey started when I was young. I had some big plans, just like everyone. I yearned for something in my crosshair. Squint though I made, well, it never came. Talk too much about the haves and have-nots. We got too much till it's not a lot. I want so much more for you and me, baby, but I do not want what I have not got. What I have not got. In a state trip across the land. Days were plenty, I had time on my hands. I yearned for something I never could see. Tried though I made it, it never came to me. We talk too much about the haves and have-nots. We got too much till not a lot. I want so much more for you and me, baby, but I do not want what I have not got. What I have not got. I've heard the stories and read the tales. All those who came before, I had to hunt down my own white well. Don't go looking for it anymore. I used to worry about it a long time ago. All the things I thought I'd never know. I'm older now, I put it all behind me. I don't have time for all of those things I don't need. Talk too much about the haves and have-nots. We got too much till it's not a lot. I want
Tremendous stuff. This is Susan Brower Lee. Back here is Chris Brada, and this is Tim Lee from the Tim Lee 3. My name is Craig. That's what I'm going to call myself from now on. I'll just be Craig. Thank you guys for joining us on Live Lunch Break. They're out on the road behind Devil's Rope. Look for 33 1/3 in March. Next week we have a Rhode Island singer-songwriter named Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much to Rich and Daphne for the loan of the wonderful Telegraph Record Store. As always, we are at theday.com, and you can see this show and all the rest of them archived as of this afternoon. Thank y'all. See you next time.